Have you ever wondered why some of the most unforgettable places in the world are rarely the ones dominating social media? Why do millions of travelers spend thousands of dollars chasing the same crowded destinations, while extraordinary cities filled with history, culture, incredible food, and breathtaking landscapes quietly remain hidden in plain sight? Perhaps the greatest journeys are not about following the crowd. Perhaps they begin the moment you decide to leave it behind. Welcome to Mataram, the capital city of West Nusa Tenggara, a city that many people simply pass through on their way to somewhere else, a city often treated as nothing more than the gateway to Lombok. But what if that assumption has been wrong all along? Because Mataram is not just where your journey begins. It is a destination worthy of becoming the journey itself. Nestled on the western coast of Lombok Island, Mataram represents something increasingly rare in today's tourism industry: authenticity. In an era where countless destinations are redesigned to satisfy social media trends, Mataram has quietly remained true to its identity. Life here does not revolve around tourists. It revolves around generations of traditions, communities, faith, family, and culture that continue to flourish exactly as they have for centuries. That authenticity is becoming one of the most valuable travel experiences in the modern world. Across the globe, travel trends are changing. More travelers are walking away from overcrowded landmarks and manufactured attractions. Instead, they are searching for places where daily life still feels genuine. They want destinations where conversations matter more than photo opportunities, where local traditions have not been replaced by commercial performances, where every street tells a story that cannot be copied anywhere else. Mataram answers that desire with remarkable confidence. Unlike many famous tropical destinations where crowds compete for the perfect photograph, Mataram offers something far more meaningful. It offers space. Space to breathe, space to observe, space to connect. Here, mornings begin with the sounds of markets opening before sunrise. The aroma of fresh spices fills the air as families prepare recipes handed down across generations. Motorcycles weave through streets lined with traditional shops, modern businesses, historic buildings, and colorful neighborhoods where different cultures have lived together peacefully for decades. Every corner feels lived in. Nothing feels artificial. Nothing feels staged. This is not a city built for visitors. It is a city that welcomes visitors into its real life. That distinction changes everything. The moment you arrive, you notice a rhythm unlike anywhere else. The pace is calmer than Bali. The atmosphere is warmer than many major Indonesian cities. Traffic exists, but it rarely overwhelms. People still greet one another with genuine smiles. Small family businesses continue to thrive beside modern shopping centers. Traditional markets remain central to everyday life. Children play outside, while elders gather to share stories that have shaped entire communities. It is a reminder that progress does not have to erase identity. Mataram proves they can exist together. Its strategic location has also made it one of the most practical cities for exploring Lombok. Within a relatively short drive, visitors can move from historical landmarks to white sand beaches, from vibrant food districts to peaceful parks, from bustling commercial streets to quiet coastal sunsets. Instead of spending hours traveling between attractions, you spend more time experiencing them. That convenience transforms the entire journey. Every day becomes richer. Every hour offers another discovery. Yet convenience alone is not what makes Mataram extraordinary. Its true strength lies much deeper. It lies within its history, a history that cannot be understood by looking at a single monument or reading a single plaque. Because Mataram is not one city with one identity. It is a remarkable fusion of three distinct worlds that gradually grew together over time. Each carries its own character. Each preserves its own legacy. Each contributes a unique chapter to the story of modern Mataram. Together, they create one of Indonesia's most fascinating urban landscapes. To understand Mataram today, you must first travel back through centuries of trade, migration, kingdoms, and cultural exchange. Long before international visitors arrived on Lombok seeking tropical beaches and luxury resorts, this region had already become an important crossroads connecting civilizations across Southeast Asia. Merchants crossed the seas carrying spices, textiles, ceramics, precious metals, and ideas. Communities formed around ports. Religious traditions spread through peaceful interaction. Economic prosperity attracted people from different ethnic backgrounds. Over generations, these encounters shaped a city unlike any other. One of its earliest and most influential centres was Ampenan. Once the busiest port on Lombok Island, Ampenan connected Lombok to international trade routes stretching across Asia and beyond. Ships carrying valuable goods regularly arrived from neighbouring islands and distant countries. Arab traders, Chinese merchants, European colonial powers, regional kingdoms, all left traces that can still be discovered today. Walking through Ampenan feels less like visiting an old neighbourhood and more like opening the pages of a living history book. Colonial-era buildings continue to stand proudly along narrow streets. Weathered balconies overlook roads where commerce once flourished. Traditional shophouses reveal architectural influences from multiple civilizations. Every faded wall seems to whisper stories of sailors, merchants, families, and dreamers whose lives became intertwined through the sea. Unlike many historical districts that have been completely modernized, Ampenan retains much of its original atmosphere. Its timeless charm has become one of the reasons why efforts are underway to preserve and elevate its international heritage significance. Visitors often arrive expecting another old town. They leave realizing they have experienced something much rarer, a place where history still feels alive, not locked behind museum glass, but woven into everyday life. As the sun rises over these historic streets, cafe owners prepare coffee using locally sourced beans. Fishermen return from the sea carrying the morning's catch. Children walk to school beneath buildings that have witnessed generations of change. Life continues exactly where history never ended. And that is only one face of Mataram. The city has many more stories waiting to be discovered. As Lombok continued to develop, another centre of life emerged. This was the district that would eventually give the entire city its name, Mataram. Today, it serves as the administrative and governmental heart of West Nusa Tenggara, but its significance extends far beyond official buildings and public institutions. It is where decisions shaping the province are made. It is where universities educate the next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, and innovators. It is where hospitals, civic centres, and public services come together to support millions of people across the island. Unlike cities that feel dominated by government offices, Mataram balances public administration with everyday community life. Civil servants stop at neighbourhood cafes before work. Students fill libraries and university campuses with fresh ideas and ambitious dreams. Families gather in parks during the evenings, while food vendors prepare recipes that have remained unchanged for decades. The result is a city that feels productive without becoming overwhelming, modern without becoming impersonal, busy without losing its warmth. Then comes the third face of this remarkable city, Negara. If Ampenan tells the story of international trade and Mataram represents governance and education, Negara embodies commerce, entrepreneurship, and cultural continuity. This district has long been recognized as one of the island's primary commercial centers. Markets buzz with activity from dawn until late evening. Traditional family businesses operate alongside modern retail stores. Gold shops, textile merchants, restaurants, and local artisans contribute to an economy that reflects both historical traditions and contemporary ambitions. Yet what makes Cakranegara especially fascinating is not simply its economic vitality. It is the unmistakable cultural influence that continues to shape its identity. For centuries, Bali and Lombok have shared close historical connections. Those connections remain visible throughout Cakranegara today. Beautiful Hindu temples stand peacefully alongside bustling commercial streets. Traditional Balinese architecture appears naturally within the urban landscape. Ceremonial processions occasionally pass through neighborhoods, filling the streets with music, colorful offerings, and centuries-old traditions that continue to be practiced with deep devotion. For first-time visitors, it can be a surprising experience. One moment you are exploring a lively marketplace. The next you encounter an ancient temple whose stone carvings tell stories reaching back hundreds of years. Nothing feels forced. Nothing exists merely as a tourist attraction. These traditions continue because they remain part of everyday life. That authenticity is what gives Mataram its extraordinary character. Few cities allow you to experience such distinct identities within such short distances. In a single day, you can wander through a historic colonial port, visit the administrative centre of an entire province, and immerse yourself in one of Lombok's busiest commercial districts. Each area has its own rhythm, its own architecture, its own atmosphere, its own story. Together, they create a city that constantly surprises those willing to look beyond the surface. But perhaps the greatest story of Mataram is not found in its buildings, it is found in its people. Indonesia is celebrated around the world for its extraordinary diversity. More than 17,000 islands, hundreds of ethnic groups, hundreds of local languages, countless cultural traditions. Mataram represents that diversity in one of its most inspiring forms. Here, differences are not obstacles, they are strengths. The city is widely known as the City of 1,000 Mosques, a reflection of the strong Islamic heritage that shapes much of daily life across Lombok. The call to prayer echoes through neighborhoods 5 times each day, creating a rhythm that has guided communities for generations. But this identity exists alongside another equally remarkable reality. Mataram is also a city where multiple cultures and religions have coexisted peacefully for centuries. The indigenous Sasak people remain the largest ethnic community on Lombok, preserving traditions that connect modern life with ancestral wisdom. Their customs influence everything from language and music to architecture, clothing, and ceremonies. Traditional Sasak values continue to emphasize respect, hospitality, family, and community cooperation. Visitors often notice this almost immediately. Strangers are greeted with sincere smiles, conversations begin easily, hospitality feels instinctive rather than rehearsed. Alongside the Sasak community, generations of Balinese families have also contributed significantly to the city's identity. Their influence can be seen not only through magnificent temples, but also through dance, art, sculpture, and religious festivals that continue to enrich the cultural landscape. Arab descendants who settled in Ampenan generations ago added another important layer to this multicultural heritage. They brought trading traditions, culinary influences, architecture, and religious scholarship that helped shape the character of the old port district. Chinese Indonesian communities likewise contributed to commerce, education, and entrepreneurship, strengthening the city's economic foundation while preserving their own traditions. Rather than existing separately, these communities have spent decades building relationships through shared neighborhoods, schools, businesses and public spaces. The result is not simply multiculturalism, it is genuine coexistence. Perhaps nowhere is this harmony more visible than in the city's religious landmarks. Within relatively short distances, visitors can admire the magnificent Islamic center of West Nusa Tenggara, whose elegant architecture has become one of Lombok's most recognizable symbols. Its towering minarets dominate the skyline, welcoming worshippers and visitors alike. The mosque stands as both a place of worship and a symbol of the island's spiritual identity. Not far away stands Pura Meru, the largest Hindu temple on Lombok and one of the island's most historically significant cultural landmarks. Built in the 18th century during the Balinese kingdom's influence over Lombok, the temple remains an active place of worship today. Its distinctive, multi-tiered shrines rise gracefully above peaceful courtyards, reflecting centuries of devotion and artistic craftsmanship. The presence of these landmarks within the same city tells a powerful story. It demonstrates that history is not simply about conflict. History is also about cooperation, about shared spaces, about communities choosing respect over division. In a world where differences too often become reasons for separation, Mataram quietly offers another possibility. A city where diversity is not merely celebrated during festivals, it is lived every single day. And perhaps that is one of the greatest reasons why travelers leave Mataram with memories that extend far beyond beautiful photographs. They leave having witnessed something increasingly precious, a place where culture is not performed for visitors, it is simply lived. That authenticity becomes even more meaningful once you begin exploring Mataram through one universal language: food. Every great destination tells its story through its cuisine. Every spice carries history. Every family recipe preserves memories. Every traditional dish reflects generations of adaptation, creativity, and cultural exchange. In Mataram, food is far more than something to satisfy your hunger. It is one of the clearest expressions of Lombok's identity. From the moment you step into a traditional restaurant or a small roadside warung, the unmistakable aroma of grilled spices, fresh herbs, roasted chilies, garlic, and smoky coconut fills the air. The flavors are bold, honest, confident. There is nothing timid about Lombok's cuisine. Every bite introduces you to a culture that has never been afraid to celebrate rich flavors and authentic ingredients. Among all of Mataram's culinary treasures, one dish stands above the rest: Ayam Taliwang. Originally developed by the Sasak people and made famous throughout Lombok, this legendary grilled chicken has become one of Indonesia's most celebrated regional dishes. But describing it as simply grilled chicken would hardly do it justice. The chicken is carefully marinated with a complex blend of garlic, shallots, shrimp paste, candle nuts, fresh chilies, palm sugar, and local spices before being grilled over charcoal. As the flames kiss the surface, the skin develops a beautiful smoky aroma, while the meat remains remarkably tender and juicy. The final result delivers layers of flavor that unfold with every bite. First comes the savory richness, then the gentle sweetness. Moments later arrives the unmistakable heat that Lombok is famous for. It is bold without overwhelming, powerful without masking the natural flavor of the chicken itself. This balance is precisely why Ayam Taliwang has earned admiration from food lovers across Indonesia and around the world. Yet the experience rarely ends there. Almost every serving arrives alongside another Lombok classic, plecing kangkung. At first glance, it appears deceptively simple. Fresh water spinach lightly boiled until perfectly tender. But its signature sambal transforms the dish into something unforgettable. Made from tomatoes, bird's eye chilies, garlic, shrimp paste, and a squeeze of fresh lime, the sauce delivers an explosion of freshness balanced by fiery heat. Topped with roasted peanuts and shredded coconut, plecing kangkung provides the perfect contrast to the richness of grilled chicken. It is refreshing, vibrant, deeply satisfying. Then comes another local favorite that surprises many first-time visitors, sate rembiga. Unlike many Indonesian satés that lean towards sweetness, this specialty from the Rembiga area of Mataram offers a distinctive balance of sweet, savory, and spicy flavors. Thin slices of beef are marinated for hours in a carefully guarded blend of local spices before being grilled over glowing charcoal. The caramelization creates slightly crisp edges while preserving an incredibly tender interior. Every family claims to have its own secret recipe. Many have been protecting those recipes for generations. That is part of what makes culinary exploration in Mataram so rewarding. No two experiences are ever exactly alike. One small restaurant may prepare its sambal slightly hotter. Another may use a different proportion of garlic and palm sugar. A family-owned eatery hidden inside a quiet neighborhood may serve a version passed down through 4 generations. These subtle differences create endless opportunities for discovery. Some of the city's most beloved restaurants continue preparing these dishes exactly as their grandparents once did. Places such as Sate Rembiga Utama Bu Ririn have built loyal followings by preserving authentic flavors instead of chasing passing food trends. Restaurants like Ayam Taliwang Kania II continue introducing visitors to one of Lombok's most iconic culinary traditions. Meanwhile, Nasi Balap Puyung Inak Esun remains a favorite for travelers seeking another authentic taste of the island. What makes these establishments special is not simply their popularity, it is their commitment to preserving culinary heritage. Recipes are not treated as commercial products, they are treated as family legacies. Visitors quickly realize they are experiencing something that cannot easily be replicated elsewhere. And while traditional cuisine remains the heart of Mataram's food scene, the city has also embraced a new generation of culinary creativity. Modern cafes now stand beside traditional eateries. Young entrepreneurs blend contemporary presentation with centuries-old recipes. Locally grown coffee from nearby highlands is served alongside handcrafted desserts inspired by Sasak ingredients. International influences appear without replacing local identity. Instead, they complement it. This balance reflects the city itself, respectful of tradition, open to innovation, proud of its roots while confidently looking toward the future. For many travelers, these culinary experiences become some of the strongest memories they carry home. Long after photographs fade into digital archives, people still remember the smoky aroma of freshly grilled Ayam Taliwang. They remember the first fiery bite of authentic sambal. They remember conversations shared with restaurant owners who proudly explain recipes inherited from their parents and grandparents. Those moments transform meals into memories and memories into reasons to return. Yet perhaps one of Mataram's greatest advantages has nothing to do with history or cuisine. It is simplicity. Not simplicity in what the city offers, but in how effortlessly visitors can experience it. Many world-famous destinations require hours of travel just to move between attractions. Entire vacations disappear inside traffic jams, airport transfers, or exhausting road trips. Mataram offers a refreshing alternative. Here, time belongs to the traveller. Within a single day, you can walk through historic neighbourhoods in the morning, enjoy authentic Lombok cuisine for lunch, visit cultural landmarks during the afternoon, watch the sunset beside the sea in the evening, and still have time to enjoy local cafes or vibrant night markets before returning to your hotel. Distances remain surprisingly manageable. Transportation is straightforward. The city's layout allows visitors to experience remarkable diversity without spending half their holiday on the road. That practicality makes every journey feel richer. Families appreciate it. Solo travellers enjoy the flexibility. Business visitors find it remarkably efficient. Every hour spent in Mataram becomes an hour filled with experiences rather than endless commuting. One moment you may find yourself standing beside the tranquil waters of Mayura Water Palace, reflecting on centuries of Lombok's royal history. A short drive later, you are strolling along Ampenan beach as the golden evening light transforms the horizon into brilliant shades of orange, crimson, and deep blue. Nearby souvenir centres invite visitors to discover locally woven textiles, handcrafted pearls, traditional snacks, and works created by talented Sasak artisans. Every destination feels connected. Every experience naturally leads to another. Rather than overwhelming visitors with endless distances, Mataram invites them to slow down, to observe more carefully, to appreciate the journey instead of rushing through it. And perhaps that is exactly what modern travel has been missing all along. That slower rhythm becomes even more rewarding because Mataram is not isolated from Lombok's greatest natural wonders. Instead, it sits at the centre of them. Think of the city as the heart of the island. From here, nearly every unforgettable destination across Western Lombok is within comfortable reach. This strategic location has quietly transformed Mataram into the preferred base for travellers who want to experience the island without constantly changing hotels or spending hours packing and unpacking. In the morning, you can enjoy breakfast in the city. By midday, you may find yourself relaxing along the coastline of Senggigi, where rolling hills meet the turquoise waters of the Lombok Strait. As evening approaches, you can return to Mataram for dinner, surrounded by the warmth of local hospitality and the vibrant energy of the city's culinary scene. The following day, another adventure awaits. Just offshore lie the legendary Gili Islands, Gili Trawangan, Gili Meno, Gili Air. Each possesses its own distinct personality. Crystal clear waters reveal colourful coral reefs teeming with tropical marine life. Sea turtles glide effortlessly beneath the surface. White sandy beaches stretch beneath endless blue skies. Motor vehicles are absent, allowing bicycles and horse-drawn carts to preserve an atmosphere of peaceful simplicity that has become increasingly rare in today's world. For divers and snorkelers, these islands consistently rank among Indonesia's most admired marine destinations. Yet returning to Mataram at the end of the day offers something equally valuable: comfort, convenience, and the opportunity to experience authentic city life rather than remaining inside a resort bubble. Those seeking even greater adventure often set their sights toward the majestic silhouette visible from many parts of Lombok, Mount Rinjani. Standing more than 3,700 metres above sea level, it is Indonesia's second highest volcano and one of Southeast Asia's most celebrated trekking destinations. Its crater lake, Segara Anak, has inspired explorers, photographers, scientists, and nature lovers from around the world. Although reaching Rinjani requires careful preparation, Mataram serves as one of the island's primary gateways for organising expeditions, arranging accommodations, and beginning journeys toward this extraordinary landscape. The city's accessibility allows visitors to combine dramatically different experiences within a single vacation. One day exploring history, another discovering tropical islands, another hiking volcanic landscapes, another enjoying peaceful beaches. Few destinations offer such remarkable diversity with so little logistical difficulty. Yet one of Mataram's greatest surprises is that you do not even have to leave the city to reconnect with nature. Despite being an urban centre, green spaces remain an essential part of its identity. Perhaps nowhere illustrates this more beautifully than Narmada Park. Built in the 18th century by the Balinese kingdom that once ruled much of Lombok, the park was designed as a symbolic representation of Mount Rinjani and its sacred crater lake. According to historical accounts, the aging king could no longer undertake the demanding pilgrimage to the mountain. Instead, this remarkable royal garden became a spiritual substitute, allowing ceremonies to continue within a carefully crafted landscape that echoed the island's most sacred natural landmark. Today, visitors wander through peaceful gardens shaded by towering trees. Ancient stone pathways wind beside ponds and flowing springs. Historic pavilions reflect elegant Balinese architectural traditions, while blending naturally into the surrounding landscape. One of the park's most famous attractions is its natural spring, believed by many local residents to symbolize purity, renewal, and longevity. Whether viewed through historical, cultural, or spiritual perspectives, Narmada remains one of Lombok's most treasured heritage sites. It is not simply a beautiful park, it is a living reminder of how deeply nature, history, and spirituality have always been connected on this island. Beyond parks and historical gardens, the coastline surrounding Mataram offers another refreshing contrast to many of Southeast Asia's heavily commercialized beaches. Ampenan Beach, for example, possesses a quiet charm that feels increasingly uncommon. Rather than rows of luxury resorts dominating the shoreline, visitors often encounter local families enjoying the sea breeze, fishermen preparing their boats, children laughing along the waterfront, and couples gathering to watch one of Lombok's unforgettable sunsets. As daylight begins to fade, the sky transforms into an extraordinary canvas of gold, orange, crimson, and deep violet. The silhouette of Bali's Mount Agung occasionally appears across the water, creating one of the most spectacular evening panoramas anywhere in Indonesia. There are no elaborate productions here, no carefully choreographed entertainment, only nature performing the same breathtaking masterpiece it has presented for thousands of years. And sometimes that is more than enough. Moments like these remind travelers why they chose to explore beyond the familiar. Because the greatest luxury is not always found inside expensive resorts. Sometimes it is found in silence, in fresh ocean air, in conversations with local residents, in sunsets that ask for nothing except your attention. Over the past decade, these qualities have become increasingly valuable. Around the world, travelers have begun seeking destinations that feel less commercial and more meaningful. The definition of luxury is changing. It is no longer measured solely by five-star hotels or exclusive experiences. It is measured by authenticity, by genuine human connections, by places that still possess a strong sense of identity. This global shift has quietly placed Mataram in an increasingly favorable position. Travelers who once visited Lombok only as an extension of Bali are now choosing to spend more time discovering the island itself. Many arrive expecting only a convenient transit point. They leave realizing they have overlooked one of Indonesia's most fascinating urban destinations. Word spreads naturally, not because of aggressive marketing campaigns, but because unforgettable experiences have always been the most powerful form of recommendation. One traveler tells another. Friends recommend hidden cafes they discovered by accident. Families return because the people remembered their names. Photographers revisit because every season offers different light. Food lovers return because no restaurant back home can quite recreate the flavors they experienced in Lombok. This is how remarkable destinations grow, not through hype, but through memories that people cannot stop talking about. As more international visitors search for alternatives to overcrowded tourism hotspots, Mataram stands ready to welcome them with something increasingly rare. A destination that has never needed to pretend to be extraordinary, because it already is.